Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Just Life and Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. If you haven't listened, make sure you guys tune into that. But getting into this new episode today, you know how we do it. We're going to start off with our vibe check and just see how we feeling today, this week, and all things. I would say for me, I've definitely been in mom mode more than normal because I'm home. So it's giving like the stay at home, like mom zhuzh. And that's not really like my forte per se. Kids are a
Mhm.
lot. I always say, in my opinion, staying home with kids, as fun sometimes as it can be, and you can appreciate certain things that you see within your children as far as like growth, etc. Man, it's a lot of work because it's so constant. There is no off
Mm,
button. I always say I feel like I work harder when I'm home with my kids versus than like if I'm at work or whatever. So
yeah.
I'm still off of work for like another, give or take like 3-4 weeks or so.
Must be
Here we are.
nice.
Yes. The only thing I can say is that the house is impeccable. Like cleanliness, on it because I have nothing but time. So I'm like, okay,
Mm,
let me clean, let me do laundry. Like I'm on top of it. I will say that part I can appreciate because when you're trying to fit in your domestic stuff around like your work schedule and things like that, it's more
yeah.
challenging in that regard. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, so I feel like that's just been the vibe lately. Just watching the kids and just seeing their antics and, appreciating and laughing and yelling and, all the things that go in between. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, how about you?
Planning trips
I'm not
has
mad at
been the
that.
highlight.
I'm
We
not
have
mad at
just so
that.
much like going on this year. So let's see. Next week, I'm going back to Virginia for a week. I'll be there. And my boyfriend is going to come at the latter part of that and kick it with my family and stuff like that. And then February, we have Mardi Gras. And that falls on Valentine's Day weekend. We're going to the Zulu brunch. I might have mentioned that. I don't remember. And
That's gonna be
then
fun.
yeah, and then in March, my sister and I are trying to go to Vegas so we can see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. It looks super cool. And then April, so far, I don't have anything, but my boyfriend has a motorcycle trip. And then May, we have my niece's graduation. And then we're trying to go to Toronto for this Bruno Mars concert. But when I tell you,
Mhm.
I was in queue for forever. It was like 30 something thousand people ahead of me in the queue.
Wow.
And then when my time came, they only had like tickets that was like right in front of the stage. So, they were like expensive. And my boyfriend was like, no, we ain't doing that. So
Mhm,
we're
mhm.
gonna have to keep our eye on the resale and see if we can scoop something up for this Bruno Mars tour. Because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't made an album in a while.
Mhm.
Even though he had his Vegas residency, he hasn't made any new music in a while. So, and my boyfriend is a big Bruno Mars fan. So we just trying to plan out the next few months, budget out
I hear you. I hear
all this
you.
money because we said we were going to be lean this year. Like, oh, we're gonna save, we're gonna be lean, da, 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 da. But then it's like every month there's like something we need to do. So
Sometimes you just need to enjoy life. It is what it is.
yeah, man, yeah,
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 it
we
is.
ain't gotta twist my arm.
I get it. I definitely get it. I think everything will be fun though. That should be really exciting. And I
Yeah.
like Toronto, so I feel like that alone is just the vibe in itself.
Yeah, me too. I told him I was like, because he's never been there before, but I've been for Carabana, and I was telling him Canada to me, or at least Toronto to me, because
Mhm,
Montreal is totally different vibe, and I love Montreal as well. But
mhm,
Toronto to me is just like not ghetto America, like America minus the
mm,
ghetto.
mm,
Not that they
mhm.
don't have their own BS, and every place does, right? But I
Of
just feel
course.
like when you go there, it's like, oh, this is what the US could be if it was on better behavior.
Yeah. I understand and I know what you mean.
Mhm.
I definitely know what you mean. Well, all good things on the horizon. Okay, so
Yeah.
what you got for us in the rundown today, ma'am?
Girl, the rundown is so full, so y'all might hear my pages switching through because I have a lot of things to talk to y'all about today. All right, a lot of
Okay.
political stuff too because the world is crazy, okay?
Yes.
So, first of all, France, Germany, Norway, and Sweden have sent troops to Greenland to train and prepare them for US invasion. We talked about this before in how Greenland, through its association with Denmark, is a NATO ally, and you're not
Mhm.
supposed to buck against your allies, but Donnie Boyd and said that we need Greenland for national security, then pull some sort of something out his ass to try to invade these people, honey. And so now
Mm.
our fellow allies is like, oh, okay. Well, guess what then? We gonna be ready for you.
Oh, well,
Meanwhile, Iran has made a statement that they willing to off him, and they said that
mm,
unlike the previous attempt when he was running for president the second time, they
mhm.
will not miss. So watch your back.
All I can say about that, if they truly want to unalive Donald Trump, can they just make sure they aim solely for him? We are in close proximity to DC, and I don't want them to like blow up everybody as like a casualty. You know what I mean? At war. No, go directly to the source. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm listening. Go ahead, girl.
Well, I hope that they wouldn't like blow up anything and they would just do something very strategic, like slip something in his beverage. I don't know.
Thank you.
So, protesters have taken to the streets in Minneapolis after the shooting of Renee Good. We also had talked about that. She was shot earlier this month by ICE agents and killed. And ICE has pretty much responded to these protests with violent arrests, pepper spray, smoke bombs. It's really seeming that it's turning into an ever evolving powder keg because the people aren't backing down and neither is ICE. So it's getting pretty nasty out there in Minneapolis. Trump has threatened to use the Insurrection Act for any anti ICE protesters. And this is after yet another shooting in Minneapolis. This time, they shot a protester. It is a male. He was not killed, but he was injured. Of course, that just added fuel to the fire. And now Trump is threatening to use this centuries old law that would allow him to deploy troops on U.S. soil to suppress rebellion. That whole situation, it's unfortunate that a life had to be lost, but I feel like it ignited something in the people that's just like, okay, you know what? This is the last straw. Spit it out, lady. What you got to say about it?
I am glad that it has ignited, and I say that air quotes with people because people get on this high horse for a temporary period of time. That's another thing.
Mm,
I also do wonder, not to undermine the death of Renee Good or anything like that, if it was a person of a different color, would it have caused this reaction to this extent? I also do wonder. I do think
mm-mm,
that people, non-colored people, the white people, yes, they need to start getting active for
mm-hmm,
once. Participate. If they killing you, I'm not saying put your life on the line. I'm not saying all that, but it's like, okay, maybe you guys are now catching strays like the way brown and black people have been catching it all these years. Not even
mm-hmm.
just with the ICE thing, from all these years, even before that. So that's why I'm just kind of like, we'll see what happens. I feel like we always get on this high horse when there's like a death. I feel like it was like that with George Floyd and things. Oh, let's invoke this change. It's all temporary. We see everything that they
Mm-hmm.
tried to implement during the George Floyd thing has now, they done pulled everything back now. It was like, we needed to keep you guys quiet for a certain period of time. Now y'all good. And we have the support of the president even more to even pull certain things back. The US needs a cleansing, to be honest,
Yeah.
in the biggest way. So, and I'm gonna let it go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, to further itch your ass a little bit,
Mhm.
Trump has stated that he wants to get rid of MLK and Juneteenth celebrations. He
Mm.
already had did something earlier this month where you no longer got, I believe it was like free admission to parks and things like that on these holidays, but instead you would get them on his birthday. Narcissistic
Mhm.
AF.
Mhm.
He's really setting his foothold in this whole MLK Juneteenth situation. I wouldn't be surprised if those were removed as holidays altogether under him.
Correct. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Meanwhile, a Department of Homeland Security whistleblower has released like personal data on 4,500 ICE agents, including like names, work emails, phone numbers, and other things like employment data. I don't know, what people would necessarily do with work information. I think it's good to know who these people are because they walk around masked and
Mhm.
have some sort of, I guess, protection by people not knowing who they are, not seeing their faces and things like that. So to have those names out, I think that that's good. And I guess having those names, people can do further digging. But releasing like employee data and stuff like that, I'm not really sure how that would help
Yeah,
anything.
I don't know either. But one thing, and I remember you mentioned this on the previous episode, whereas though people in law enforcement, sometimes you question their motivation for entering said field.
Hmm.
And I know they also did say like the creator, the founder of the Proud Boys is part of the ICE agents, which I
Mm,
was like, oh, that's fantastic. Of
mm,
all people, that's who needs to be there. That's why I'm just kind of like, oh, the whole plate, cleanse everybody.
mm,
Everybody got it. Like it's
mm.
craziness. It's
Clean
crazy.
house.
Yes, literally.
Well,
Mm-mm.
this is when you talk about a cleansing, the best thing that we can get to that is going to be the midterm elections. So
Yes.
stop bitching and moaning about it, people, and go to the polls, register to vote, get your shit together, go and vote.
Yes, and take the extra step to see what people are standing on too. Don't just
Hmm.
vote because the name sounds this and you like this one or because it's a woman. Like it has to be more than that. You really have to look at what these people's platform are and like things that they're trying to implement. Because sometimes things will slide. You'll be like, what are you trying to do? Oh my God.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Just be aware about that.
Yeah, there's lots of websites and things like that you can go on and see who's doing what. However, having
Hmm.
said that, if you're not willing to do that and you don't like the current administration, you're not a Republican or don't like what the Republicans are doing, just vote for whoever's a Democrat, okay?
Basically.
Easy peasy, one, two, and threesy, all right? Okay, on a lighter note, popular social media couple Christy Sarah and Desmond Scott shocked socials when Christy filed for divorce from Desmond, alleging infidelity.
Mm.
People were really upset about this. If you don't know who Christy Sarah is, if you don't know who Desmond is, just look them up on Instagram. They are known for Christy doing these antics and jokes and things on her husband. They have two little boys, a beautiful family. He is a fantastic cook, so his content was like cooking things for her, etc. They seemed really happy. They've been together since they were teenagers, and so people are upset about this. But TMZ caught Desmond at a Houston bar kissing down on some chick. I mean, when I tell you kissing down, like get a room level kissing down. So apparently that relationship is on its way out.
So he not upset about it. That's what he said. Now he can be outside free.
Hmm.
Basically, I guess since the young lady filed for divorce.
Yeah. My question was the lady that he was kissing on like that the lady he was supposedly cheating on, or is this a new girl? Like you just out here, Desmond, or like what was the situation? I need somebody to tell me. Speak.
Yeah. Because honestly, I didn't know who they were. You just educated me just now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
And she's also best friends with the singer Her. So they're
Oh,
in
okay.
videos and things
Okay.
together. If you follow her, you might have seen Christy. Lastly, 50 Cent is set to invest $124 million into a multi phase entertainment industry project in Northwest Louisiana. It's expected to create over 6,000 jobs statewide and also produce approximately $300 million in wages over the next 20 years. It's going to generate an estimated $18.8 billion in economic impact. So, we've always said 50 is certainly a character, a personality, an acquired taste. But in business, he is that man.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Congrats to him.
Hmm. All right, let's get into it. What we got today?
Okay, so we're going to jump right into it. It is entitled Family Ain't Forever. So basically, on socials recently, it had came up people talking about how they're estranged from various family members, whether it's siblings or parents, and how it seems that a lot of people do not deal with their family and, close family in some capacity and for various reasons, obviously, and how it's, I don't want to say becoming the norm, but definitely becoming normal for people to have like estranged relationships with their family.
Hmm.
So just wanted to hash that out a little bit. My initial thoughts, I clash with my mom. If you know me and my mom, we always butt heads.
Hmm.
But I will block her. I'll be like, okay, I'm protecting my mental health. So let me go ahead and block her for what time period, 2 weeks, whatever. But I can say I couldn't be estranged from her. That's just me because as much as she irks my spirit as sometimes, and I irk hers as well, there's
Mhm.
still like a underlining, like, I enjoy certain aspects of her, that
Mhm.
those things I can hold on to and nourish. It's also not bigger, meaning like the things that she irritates me about, it's not bigger than the good. The bad doesn't outweigh the good. I should say that. But
Mhm.
that's just for me. However, with all that being said, I can understand why some people do become estranged with their family.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a good relationship with my mother.
Mhm,
I don't at all, really. And I don't talk to her very often. I don't communicate with her very often. She was sick back in, so she got diagnosed with breast cancer in September. 3 weeks later in October, she was having her surgery, double mastectomy. I went home to help handle her medical affairs. There were some personal things that needed to be handled. Like, I went there, revamped her entire life, if I do say so myself, my sister and I,
mhm,
and just made sure she was good. And we did the medical power of attorney and different legal things that we needed to do to make sure that she would be good. However, we don't have a good relationship with her. And while we were there was a really big heart to heart following a blow up. There was a decompressing after that situation in which my sister and I were very honest with my mom about the issues that we've had with her and why. And these things stem from childhood and they are deep.
mm,
And having that conversation was cathartic for both my sister and I. We had acknowledged that we felt better. We felt less tense. We felt less
mm,
anger. And we felt that we were able to deal with her better, kinder, softer,
mm,
or in moments that we weren't, we were able to redirect and
mm,
say, "Hey, we realized we came off harsh, da 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 da."
mhm,
Having said that, I came home and I feel like then my mom started to step back. Usually, even though I don't talk to my mom very often, we don't have many dealings with each other. Every time we talk, she would say at the end of the conversation, "I love you." I say, "I love you back," whatever. First thing I noticed was she stopped saying that. Then I noticed I would text, I would call, I would try to get updates, try to find out what's going on with her. She wouldn't respond. She would take her time or she wouldn't, or I would have to get information from my sister. She stopped filling me in on her doctor's appointments. I have a spreadsheet on my mom where I keep all her doctor's appointments because she has other health issues, etc. She stopped filling me in on that. And it just came into be this thing where I was like, okay, I feel like she's feeling some type of way. Like after I've left and we've told her all these things, like she's feeling some type of way. And I was like, I feel like that's a slap in the face because I literally dropped my life. I was moving. I moved my things here. And then, like 2 days later, I was on a plane and spent a month back home to be with her and do what needed to be done. And now you're kind of acting this type of way.
mhm,
So my sister had spoken to her and was like, Keena's trying to reach you about this, that, or the third. Basically, I need to, for my own health reasons, I need to get my mom to do this genetic testing. She has the kit. She had it since October. She's been refusing to do it. And so my sister is trying to encourage her to do it
mhm,
so that we can
mhm,
all know, my sister, myself, my niece, what's going on with us because it appears that there may be a family history deeper than my mother, or beyond my mother in relation to cancer.
mhm,
So what it boiled down to was basically she was like, she doesn't want to talk to me half the time because I just asked too many questions. So she basically ignores me.
mm,
And
mm,
I feel
mhm,
like she also is taking her time with doing this test because it's for me. So I've
mm,
just taken the approach of, you know what? You got it. You good. You fine.
mhm,
You're over there. I'm over here. And that's just how it will be. You
mhm,
need something dire, then we can talk. Other than that, it's fine. You do
mhm.
you. I do me. We see each other. We not. We talk. We don't. So I understand people who are estranged from their family. It's
Yeah.
better for my mental health. It keeps me less tense. It keeps me less angry. It keeps me more focused on other things to not have to worry about things going on with my mom in general.
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
easier for me and more peaceful for me. So I can understand that. I think that we've talked about before on the show about how family is what you make it. Like it doesn't have to be blood.
correct.
And luckily, I have a boyfriend whose family is tight and strong and they've been accepting of me. And I've been able to build relationships with his family, particularly his stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
She'll call me, I'll call her, we'll text, whatever, we joke, we laugh, whatever. And that has been something that I didn't realize that I needed until that relationship started to bud. But
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, oh, this actually feels good.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it feels like to have a relationship with a mother figure that,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other women have, where you just call and you talk to each other and you joke and you just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
not had that since my niece was maybe 3, because there was a time when I was able to get over the things with my mom. But then some other things happened, it sparked some old memories, and then I kinda, like, shut down from there. But I would say since my niece was 3 and my niece is, 21 now, so, like, 18 years, I haven't really had a good relationship with my mom. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that has been missing, and I thought I was okay with until recently.
Yeah.
But I have made family elsewhere. So I support the fact of people like cutting their family off, blood or not, because you
Yeah.
have to do what's best for you. You have to do
Yes.
what's best for your mental health, your mindset to keep you focused, keep you moving on in a positive way. And just because they're your blood does not mean that you have to maintain relationships with them. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah. That part I agree with you 100%. I think if it's compromising yourself, your health in any type of capacity, you have to make a decision and or you have to make a change because you can't continue operating from that state long term because I feel like you're only going to continue to do your own self a disservice. So,
Mhm.
I definitely do agree with you. It always stands out when they talked about estranged relationships with family. If people ever watch the Chrisleys with
Yeah.
Todd Chrisley, and when they were in jail, I was like, free the Chrisleys, free Todd, let him out. I was one of them. Obviously, they're out of jail now, everything like that. He's very comical to me, and that's why I gravitate to him for
Mhm. He
no other
is.
reason. So don't say anything to me. Yes, I know Trump pardoned him. Yes, I know he's a Republican. Yes, and yes, and yes. I just think he's comical. Everything else outside of that, like his political views, that's another discussion.
Mhm.
Anyways, he doesn't talk to his 2 children from his first marriage.
Mhm.
And that was something that they had an on and off relationship, but now they've made the decision to cut each other off. And I listened to his podcast and the daughter's podcast also that he cut off. And going back to what you said, you can hear when she talks about certain things, the hurt, the disappointment that she has that that relationship didn't work out because
Mhm.
that relationship not working out with the father, her stepmom, and then the kids that his second wife that they have together as well.
Mhm.
Everybody just kind of parted ways and everything like that. It's something that she really had to work through and continues to work through. You can definitely see the effects of it. But going back to what you said, for her, she had to do what was best for her because she wasn't operating at full capacity and having dealings with them due to certain things. And I'm hopeful for you and for the Chrisleys that everyone can get to a point of respect. Everyone can get to a point where they see each other.
Mhm.
And even if you don't agree, but just seeing someone and just, I understand. We don't have to agree because everyone's always going to have their perspective. Everyone's always going to have their version of what they think happened as well. It can be
Yeah.
the same situation, but the way Keena explained it and the way Emily explained it, you're going to be like, was you there? Because I didn't even see all of that happen. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Mhm.
But just getting to a point of health because obviously you only have one parent, you only have one child for their situation, your situation, and everything like that. However, I will say you have to do that on your own terms and what is best for you, however that looks like for you. Because I don't think you should force any relationship in life, period. That's just my opinion. Because if
Yeah.
you're having to constantly pull, trying to force a relationship from somebody and they're not reciprocating that, that's that constant disappointment and that can really play on somebody's mental.
Mhm.
So I definitely wouldn't advise that. But I always say as you get older, certain things you can be like, you know what? And I don't want to say the word, you just be like, oh, that's just the way they are. Because I feel like sometimes, especially like with our parents, even like with my mom, when she does certain things, my dad will be you know, that's the way she is. I don't care.
Mm-mm.
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't like that
care.
either.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You have to do better because if you know better, you have to do better. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I know like everybody has their ways and old dog, you can't teach your old dog new tricks and things like that because
Mhm.
when you are at a certain age, there are certain things about you. I do think people get set in their ways
Absolutely.
and it's hard to do corrective action
Yeah. Yeah.
because you've been doing this for 60 years of your life and now you come one day and like no you can't do that today and they're going to swing their head around like who you talking to because they still looking at you like you still the child. I don't care if you 40, 50, you still the child. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You still need to be respectful and things of that sort. But like I said before, I do understand. I do understand why estrangement exists. 100%.
Mhm.
However, whether it's with your parents, with your children, with your siblings, however, I don't
Yeah.
know if I could be estranged from my children, though. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe because they're young, they haven't really pissed me off like that. But for real, I don't think I could ever be estranged from my kids. And I will say
Yeah.
this, I saw a patient and just talking to her, she told me that she doesn't talk to her son anymore because he no longer practiced the religion that he was raised with.
Oh, wow.
He decided to convert to a different religion. So she then cut him off. In
Mm.
my head, I was like, oh no, I don't think that was right at all because granted you raised this man under, you know what I mean, you to believe in this religion, to practice a certain religion, but as an adult, he started to question certain things. He's in his right to question whatever he wants to question. But to cut your child off, like she said she has no dealings with him, zero because he decided no longer to practice their religion. I was like, no, that's a bit much for me. So
Yeah.
everyone has their different, I don't even want to say triggered, I guess boundaries where it's like, okay, once you cross this, like I'm cutting you off. I could never
Mhm.
do that with my child
Yeah.
personally. No. Mm-mm.
I think they're like the decision to cut your family off, whether it's
Hmm.
parents or siblings or whoever it is, I think it has to be something that is serious. And I guess that
Hmm.
could be subjective, but
Yes.
somebody changing religions or marrying somebody you didn't like or whatever,
Hmm.
those to me are very surface issues
Hmm.
that I
Very
don't think warrant
superficial.
that type of action. When I think of people cutting their family off, I think of it as it's trauma based. Like there's
Yes.
some sort of trauma that has occurred. And
Hmm.
now, for your sake, you need to separate yourself from that situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially like if there's habitual chronic behaviors that
Hmm.
are happening to you around you
Yeah.
that you no longer subscribe to, or maybe you never subscribed to it. And now you're at this point where it's like, I just actually cannot have that around me because I'm at
Hmm.
this stage in my life. I've evolved to this point in my life. So there's certain things that I can't engage in that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's like protecting your peace, so to speak.
Hmm.
Because sometimes when you see in certain things, behaviors, whatever, it can irritate you. And that alone, you're going to think about it and then you irritate it. And it's like, why am I even dealing with this? So let me
Hmm.
just either distance myself slowly, however that looks, just for the betterment of my own self. And as you being an individual, you have the right to pick or the right to decide, I should say, what you choose to be around and also who you choose to be around you as
Right.
well. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you're within
You
your
can
right.
curate your own environment.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially in these days, nobody's trying to nurture toxicity.
Mm-mm.
Nobody's trying to do that. Nobody is trying to continue what is it? Generational curses or trauma. Nobody's trying to continue
Yeah.
that. If we know better, like I said before, I think it's imperative that you try to implement what you now have learned, the corrective action behavior, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I will say I think there could be some value first in trying to work through that with a professional. What are your triggers with this family member or this group of people? Are there certain things that you need to say to them even before you make that decision? Are there things that you need to get off your chest that you need to make them aware of? It's helpful to make that decision with the help of a professional if possible,
no, I
whenever
agree.
possible. and just make sure that, you're processing those emotions appropriately before you go down that road. Not that it's something that's irreversible per se, but you just want to make sure that you're really clear headed when you're making that decision.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Because I feel like with a professional, at least they can give you certain tools to
Mhm.
hopefully navigate that situation prior to estrangement, if that's what it looks like,
Mhm.
or even tools to even navigate the actual estrangement if it does occur.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And even some people are estranged for X amount of years, but now, like, whatever's happened, people come back together. Sometimes you need those tools to actually navigate that, the reconnection, so to speak.
Mhm.
So I agree with you. I think a licensed professional is always like a good thing to have on hand, or if you use a spiritual advisor, whatever is your preference, just to guide you in those type of situations.
Yeah.
Because some people can go cold turkey where it's just they cut you off, period. You did what? That's it. Cut off. It's no
Mhm.
conversation, nothing, no. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
some people are very cutthroat like that.
Yeah. Not necessarily that there has to be a conversation. Maybe you have a
Mhm.
conversation if you just, like I said, you need to get some things off your chest. But I think just making sure that you're taking care of yourself in the process, whether you talk to the family member or not, cold turkey, I think that you still need to take care of yourself in that process,
Agreed.
whatever that looks like.
Agreed. So, audience, please let us know, are you estranged from your family members? And let us know which family member and why. No, I'm just playing. I don't think you have to be explicit as why. Don't put all your business out unless you want to. You can send the anonymous one to the link tree if you just want us to know. But yeah, I would just wonder like how many people are like estranged from certain family members and what that looks like in their world now.
Yeah. Besides deadbeat baby daddies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
outside of that whole scenario, because I feel like that, unfortunately, is pretty common, but, like, estranged from your family not because your parent is a deadbeat. That's
Yeah.
what I'm interested to know.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Well, that was a good topic. I like that one. That wraps us up. So what we got next?
Inbox unlocked,
All
baby.
right. What they talking about, girl? What they said?
Okay, so this listener says, I'm a married woman and have been for 10 plus years. We do a lot of couples dates, and seeing other couples, it made me think, do you think there is a difference between a man having a wife and a man who doesn't play about his wife?
Hmm. Yes. I would say I would say there is a difference. And I feel like it would start off definitely the temperament of the husband and the temperament of the wife.
Mm,
Because there are some men, because they know how their wife is, obviously, unless it got super active, I'm talking about like in a physical situation, they know like their wife gonna hold it down.
hmm
They'll step back like, nah, she good. She got this. You know what I mean? If I was to talk about something like less physical, let's just say like if you were checking into a hotel room and something went wrong and maybe the front desk personnel was being rude, being extra. There are some men that would step in and be like, you're not going to talk to my wife like that, regardless if it was a
hmm
man or a woman. And then there's some men, they're like, oh, you don't know my wife. Let me go sit there because she about to get with you. Like,
Yeah,
so I definitely feel like it depends on the temperaments of the respective spouses for sure.
yeah. I think it depends on the temperament, and I think it depends on the situation. Like, for my
Yes.
boyfriend and I, the situation of the hotel, because I
Hmm.
have had to get active, he lets me handle it.
Right.
I will handle that. He knows that I'm good. The situation will be fine.
Yes.
But if it were to come to a situation where it's looking like something physical, then that's when he would step in,
Right.
and do
Right.
his manly job to protect me.
Right. Right. And also going back to like exactly what you just said, I feel like everyone also has their definition of how they think their partner should show up. And
Mhm.
I think that's something that one would need to clarify. So when this young lady or whoever says, do you think well, obviously, yes, we already answered. Yes, there's a
Yeah.
difference. But then you also have to know your partner and how they will show up in said situations because you've been with the person for 10 years. I'm sure you dated before, da da da. You should know how they would behave in certain situations.
Mhm.
And you know what I mean? And go from there to know like if they don't play. But I will also say like that whole verbiage, like, oh, Does your husband not play about you? It can be extended to anybody. There's people, oh, I don't play about my sister. I don't play
Yeah.
about my children. I don't play about my husband. So, however that looks like, you know what I mean? You just don't play about the person. Whereas, though, if you see a situation, you're going to go into the mode to, like you said, protect them, to
Mm-hmm.
make things right, also to make them feel comfortable too, just the same way that they would also do for you. So, because
Yeah.
me, I'm the one, I don't play about husband, children. I don't even play by myself. So, just across the board, I just feel like that's just, but that's more so like, my
Yeah.
temperament. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, you're not going to play on my head or my husband's head. You're not going to play on my children. No, we don't do that. You
I
know what I
think that's
mean?
how it should always be, though. I think that you
Agreed.
should, the husband shouldn't play about the wife and the wife shouldn't play about the husband. I think that's just how it should be in general. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you are caring for each other and
Yes,
making sure that you're good and you're protected and you're safe and you're supported. So you shouldn't play about each other. I think that
exactly.
when I read this question, there was a piece in the question that said something about they go out with a lot of couples and she's observing other couples. It sounded to me like she doesn't feel like her husband is giving her the same level of care and concern, perhaps, that
Hmm.
she's seeing from other couples in that group.
Exactly.
And I would love to know what her definition of not playing about somebody means. I feel like, for me personally, I don't particularly care for that terminology. I think
Hmm.
that in some instances it can be too much. Like, my
Yes.
husband don't play about me, he's just doing too much. Like, ain't nobody bothering you, but your husband is doing the most. Like,
Yes.
he just wants to be riled up about something, or he's inserting himself in women's business, not letting you handle your things with your female friends. He got to be in there because ain't nobody gonna play about his wife.
Yes.
So I don't
Yes.
really care for that terminology, but what I'm hoping that she's meaning is that she's just not seeing, like I said, that level of care and support that she's seeing from other spouses.
Hmm.
That's something that they gonna have to talk about, because at the end of the day, if she's feeling this way and comparing herself to other couples, resentment is down the line, if not already there.
I agree with you 100%. There's something that she's seeing that she's not getting. So
Mhm.
hence she's now questioning.
Mhm.
So, but she's been with
Yeah.
him for 10 years. So, I mean,
Well,
if
that
you didn't
don't mean
see
you
it,
still can't have conversations, of course, correct, and you know.
yeah. I just, once again, she would have to define what my husband doesn't play about me means. And then from there, you can expound, because it's not just
Yeah.
today that you just decide, no, my husband don't play it, because you just saw like Raoul threw the waiter across the table because
No.
maybe he shitted on his wife. I mean, it can't be
Raul threw
that.
the waiter across the table.
No, I'm just like thinking like, because like 10 years, like what did you see? Like either he's been holding you down or he hasn't. Like what? Like
Mm.
what didn't no.
Mm.
So let us know your definition. But going back to what you said, nobody should be playing about anyone, because if you care about someone's well-being, that in itself, you're not going to play about them because you care
Yeah,
about their well-being. So
absolutely.
yeah, so I think that sums that
Mm. I hope we answered your question, Miss Lady. Good luck with that one.
up.
Yeah.
Oh my
All right.
goodness. So we're gonna
Mindset
get in.
reset time.
Yes, 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 yes. We're gonna keep it short and simple today. So accept people as they are, but place them where they belong.
Mm.
You are the CEO of your life. That means you can hire, fire, and promote accordingly. Thank you guys for
Mm.
tuning in.
That was so appropriate for the topic today.
Hey, listen, right on point.
Right off point.
Yes, it was right on point.
All
Let
right,
me know
y'all.
where they can find us.
Yes, we can be found on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We have an email, justlifeandpodcast@gmail.com, where you can send some questions like these to our inbox unlocked. You can also DM them to us. You can go to our link tree and submit questions there. You can be anonymous that way. There's like a little button you can toggle to say that you want to be anonymous. And here's the thing. So, you guys know that we do the rundown usually every episode here, but we're shifting a little bit. So we have this YouTube page and we want to make the most of this YouTube page. And you guys seem to really love the rundown. So, we're going to give you guys a little treat starting soon this month. We are going to be switching the rundown to videos on YouTube. So, you will get to see our lovely faces. You will get to get all of the good tea and what's going on in the world, but you'll just have to go on over to YouTube to see that. You can go to our link tree. Our YouTube link is there, or you can search us on YouTube, Just Life and Podcast, and find those rundowns. We'll drop those for you there. And hopefully, you guys like that. We want you to like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Please engage with us there, just like you guys engage on Instagram, engage on Facebook, engage on TikTok. I think that's everything.
That's everything, my dear. You covered it all.
All right, then, y'all. Until next week, have a
Yes,
good one.
yes, yes. Take care, everyone.